Okay, so we are here once again in Pet Simulator 99, and of course we are well underway now with the game. We have had this game for a very long time, it's been out for a very long time, and we've had quite a lot of updates. However, in this video, we're actually going to take a step back and look at some Pet Simulator X features that we actually don't currently have in Pet Simulator 99. Now, I do believe all of these features that I mentioned in this video would make a great addition to the game, would really bring in some very fun features as well, and just overall just enhance some of the free-to-play players and also the pay-to-win players aspects of the game as well. So let's get straight into it, with the first one being in the thumbnail, and that is the Mystery Merchant. Now, the Mystery Merchant had a lot of hype when it first was announced and first came out in Pet Simulator X. Of course, it was a twice a day feature for the game, only came around at specific times of course, and basically was super OP. It would give you some of the strongest pets in the game for virtually no diamonds at all. It was very good in the game. Of course, when it first came out, it was actually quite expensive to get them. However, as the course of the game did go on, it did get quite cheap because of inflation and things like that. However, of course, merchants in the current game do work a little bit differently, as they do not drop pets, however they drop items. So instead of actually having the pets in the Mystery Merchant, it would actually be really cool to see an upgraded version of the current merchant. The current merchant really isn't that useful, nobody really uses it anymore, as it only drops maybe like upper key halves for the crystal key, maybe some spinny wheel tickets, doesn't drop really any charms, and it kind of basically only drops very basic potions, like, you know, potion 3s and below. And the same thing for the enchants as well, doesn't really give you anything too special. So it would be nice to see the Mystery Merchant being brought back as a very cool feature that would actually drop some really interesting items, like the better versions of enchants, maybe like enchants 8 and 9, just to make them a little bit more common in the game as well, for, you know, the newer players maybe. Similar thing for the potions, maybe we could see, you know, like the potion 8s and 9s and 10s being added in there. Maybe we could actually see the cocktail also being added in there, with maybe the huge potion too. I think that would be a really cool addition to the game right there. However, one thing that I would also like to see the Mystery Merchant doing is actually bringing back some old extinct items. Now, when I say old extinct items, I basically mean items that are not gainable anymore, such as the glitched drive. Of course, people do currently have the glitch gifts, however you can't really get the glitch gifts anymore, so it basically means that the glitch drive isn't really gainable anymore. Same thing for the things like, you know, like the Christmas cookies and like the candy canes and stuff. They're not really gainable anymore because you can't really get the Titanic and the huge gifts and things like that anymore anyways. So basically it would be nice to see these old items basically being added into the Mystery Merchant so they are gainable once again. Of course, the glitch drive is very overpowered with the 250% coins and the 400% luck as well. So it would be nice to see these added back in with the Mystery Merchant. Now moving on to this next one, and I think this is one that people really did want to see added in at the start of the game, and that is more boss chests. Now currently we haven't really needed any boss chests in the game, just for the simple fact that when it comes to the last areas, they are pretty easy to grind through. As you can see, I'm pretty much insta-breaking everything in this area anyways. However, it would actually be really nice to see the boss chests getting added back into the game. Currently we only have really one in the game, in terms of one that was actually needed to be grinded properly. Of course, there was quite a lot dotted around World 1 and 2, which really were just kind of insta-broke, and they really didn't really give you anything whatsoever. They were just not really worth grinding for. However, of course, the one in the Police HQ really was worth grinding for because it did drop the keys for the clan battle, and it did also give you a ton of items. Now, as you can see, I just insta-broke that chest, which basically means it's worthless now. It does currently have a respawn time of 5 minutes as well. Of course, during the event it did have a respawn time of a minute or something like that. However, it would be nice to actually get a Pet Simulator X version of a boss chest added back into the game, because of course they were really overpowered and actually quite fun to grind. Of course, they were very difficult to actually break in the end. However, once they did break, you'd get a ton of coins. Maybe you could get a couple of items as well, depending on like what kind of update it was into. However, if they were added back into this game, maybe for something like a classic update which saw some like, Pet Simulator X versions being re-added to the game just for like an event or something. Maybe we could see a very difficult boss chest added back into the game, which would take hours to break. I think that's going to be really cool. They were very fun to break, and of course pretty rewarding when they did break as well. So it would be nice to see some boss chests added back into the game. Now this next one, again, is another update from Pet Simulator X, which would be really nice to see added back into the game, and that is Lucky Blocks. We currently do have different forms of Lucky Block in the game right now, in terms of the boss Lucky Block, and the normal Lucky Block in chance, and also the Lucky Block item as well. However, they don't exactly work the same way. Of course, if we just quickly drop this one down right now, basically it just drops down, there it is. You would break it, it would break into multiple other ones, and that'll be pretty much it. You might just get some items and some diamonds out of it. Nothing really too crazy. However, basically what I would like to see added in is the Lucky Block event, where they would randomly spawn around different areas, and of course they would have an egg inside them as well, with different tiers of the Lucky Block, basically having better chances of getting a huge and things like that. I think it would be really fun to get that added back in. Of course as well, the Lucky Block update did have that boss Lucky Block, I think it was like the black or the red one, in Pet Simulator X, which would obviously have the best chance at getting a huge, and it would only drop like very randomly, like every couple of hours. So again, another reason to actually have players actively playing the game as well, maybe give them something to grind for, and I think that'd be really cool to see the Lucky Block update added to the game. Now this next one, again, another reason for players to become more active, that is going to be hoverboard quests. Now of course we did have a lot of hoverboard quests in Pet Simulator X, especially around the Christmas time and the Halloween ones as well, which would basically give you a quest to do, such as breaking a certain amount of breakables, maybe going to certain areas, maybe finding some items around the map as well, and basically of course you would get a special themed hoverboard, which was actually really rewarding at the time, because of course that means you wouldn't really have to get the game pass. Now of course it wouldn't really hold the same value anymore, however I think a lot of players would still happily grind through to get the hoverboards that are especially themed for that update, especially Halloween ones. We don't really have any Halloween themed hoverboards currently in the game right now, maybe apart from like the Nightmare one. So maybe for the upcoming Halloween update, that will be dropping of course around October time, it would be really nice to see a new hoverboard themed around some Halloween stuff. That would be really nice to see, and of course we'll just have players actively grinding for it, and would actually give me quite a lot of video ideas as well. So that is really cool to see that if that does get added in. One more feature as well, which would be really nice for free-to-play players, and something that I do not believe is currently in the game, and that is a free huge in the free timed rewards. Of course in Pet Simulator X you have the huge cupcake, which was basically gainable I believe from the last 2 slots, which were these basket ones. And of course, I think it was around like 1 in 1,000, maybe like 1 in 10,000 chance or something like that to get it. So of course it wasn't too easy, but of course for those free-to-play players who couldn't really hatch that much, of course can't buy the exclusive eggs and things like that, would be really nice to see. Getting a free huge in here would be really nice for those players. Of course it doesn't matter if you are paid to win or free to play, everybody would have the exact same chance to hatch these out of these 2 things. So that would be really nice to see those getting added back as well for the free to play players. And continuing on for the free to play players as well, one other thing that hasn't been in the game so far, and I believe was only really in Pet Simulator X once or twice, was a free to play Titanic. Now basically what I mean by this is of course currently you can only get a Titanic either through the new exclusive eggs or basically through the Titanic plushies. Either way, you're going to be spending a lot of money to try and get one of these Titanics. They are virtually impossible at 0.05% chance. I've opened a ton of exclusive eggs myself, obviously paid quite a lot of money for them, and haven't even gotten one yet either. So yeah, it would be nice to actually see, similar to of course, I believe it was the Titanic Jolly Cat right here, as you can see, earned on the Christmas event in Pet Simulator X, and of course the exclusive Jolly Egg, basically meant it was technically possible for someone who was free to play to actually hatch one without buying exclusive eggs or the plushies, which I think is really important. Of course we do have the free to play huges in the game, like the pineapple monkey and all that kind of stuff. However, I think it was probably, maybe a good time now to add in a Titanic that is free to play for people to actually hatch as well. Of course not permanently, because it would mean that the Titanic is probably going to be very easy to get. However, in terms of an event, as you can see, even though this was around for quite a long time, I think it was like 2 weeks this was out for, along with the exclusive egg, there's only 719 of these that do exist right now in Pet Simulator 99, which were transferred over. So again, I think it's going to be really cool to see a free-to-play Titanic added into the game at some point, although it might take quite a long time, as that free-to-play Titanic was added in very late in the game cycle in terms of Pet Simulator X. So again, it might be something similar with Pet Simulator 99, where we do see a free-to-play Titanic added in quite late in the game cycle. However, we might as well wait and see. And then the last feature, which I really hope does come back, and I know a lot of people have been talking about recently, is the Scavenger egg hunt. Now, I guess we do somewhat have a egg hunt in the game with the Tiki Island one. Ignore my watch vibrating on the table. However, yeah, we do currently have an egg hunt currently in the game right now with the Tiki egg hunt. However, this is more like the Backrooms one, where you have a chance at finding 100 times a huge chance egg, which will obviously give you 100 times the chance at getting the pineapple monkey. However, the Scavenger egg hunt was basically an egg that was dotted somewhere random around any map whatsoever. It could be world 1, 2 or 3, and then of course that egg would be kind of sitting around waiting for you, and you'd have the chance to hatch a huge safari cat, which was really cool as well. And of course, for me personally, this also meant that I would get a lot of views on my streams just for having the scavenger hunt locations in my stream. I think that was really cool to have those. So yeah, again, just another feature for free-to-play players to maybe get another chance at getting another free huge. I think it's really cool. I think right now, in terms of value for the safari cat, it is actually still quite a decent value. I don't think exactly many of them were found, if I am not mistaken. As you can see, 161 million and 5,000 existing is a decent amount, so obviously they were quite hard to get. However, still, again, for those free-to-play players, it's just very exciting for them to find these, because just having a chance to get a huge pet is always going to be a really big buzz and a massive hype for these people. So yeah, I think again, the safari egg hunt would be nice to get in. I think the huge safari dog as well was an interesting one. A lot less of those exist because I think it was in the egg for a lot less time. However, as you can see, 1,000 of those exist, and 414 million wrap is pretty cool as well. So yeah, again, another free-to-play huge would be really nice. And obviously, you know, I like to reward free-to-play players and try and help them out as much as possible. So these features being brought back to the game would be really cool. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.